I'm Emily and welcome once again to my channel. Today, I'm not going to be reacting to anything which is unusual for my channel. That's usually what I do. So today what I'm going to be doing is something a little bit different. I'm going to be ranking every character of the Untamed. And you may be thinking, are you really ranking every character, like literally every character? And the answer is no, probably not. Because the Untamed is 50 episodes, there's a lot of characters that appear in that show. But I think I have most of them. At least I have most of the important ones. I have 39 characters, so that should be enough for a ranking. Actually, I should have 40, but you will see why I have 39 in a second. Well, not a second. If my introductions go the way they usually do, definitely not a second. So I had some, let's say, criteria for me to choose the characters that I have here today. Other than the obvious ones. If they are main characters, obviously they are there. That would be very embarrassing if I forgot to put some of the main characters. But I think I have all of them. My criteria, my conditions were that first, the character had to have a name. Second, they have to have, dialogue. They have to have interactions with other characters. And the third condition is the fact that they have to have some kind of impact in the plot. So I think with that, I gotten most of the characters that I remember. I also obviously I haven't rewatched. I have watched The Untamed only once. I haven't rewatched it, so I'm working from memory and also the characters that I already have in the previous list, because for those who don't know, for those who have never been to my channel, this is probably, welcome, but this is a surprise probably. I have already ranked all of the characters from The Untamed, but not all of them really. When I was halfway through the show, I did another ranking for the characters of The Untamed, but only with the characters that I have seen that far. And that list is there. I'm going to put the link somewhere in the screen, I guess. But I'm doing this again now that I finish The Untamed, because I want to see if my feelings change, if my opinion change towards certain characters. Maybe I like some characters more. Maybe I like some other characters less. So it's going to be interesting. I also have to say that I actually haven't seen the previous list. Of the previous video. Well, no, that's not true. I have to open it because I didn't remember what the tiers were back then, and I wanted to use the same ones. But other than that, I actually have no idea where I put each character. Like, some of the characters I can imagine. I'm pretty sure where I put them. But honestly, I don't remember, so this is just a guess for me. But I think people, who have been in my channel for a while, I think they can guess too where I'm going to put some characters, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I haven't planned any of these. I haven't even thought about it. I'm coming here with a complete blank mind, which I don't know if it's good or bad, but things are going to happen in the moment. I haven't made any decisions yet. So maybe I'm going to surprise you, or maybe not. We'll see. The other thing that I have to say is that I'm filming this, or recording this rather, in the morning, which is something that I never do. And this is not a weekend or anything. This is just a regular weekday for me. I just don't have time to record this later. But if you hear that my voice is rougher than it usually is, if I hear that my thoughts are more stupid than I usually is, it's just because of that. My brain is still, sleeping. The fact that I'm talking is pretty much a miracle of science. I also hadn't had coffee. But the most important thing of that is that I live next to a kindergarten. So that means that at some point, noises may start to happen, because that's what I don't think classes have started yet, but I think they may start soon. So you may hear some background noises. There's nothing I can do about it, unless it's actual music that could get me in trouble with YouTube. In that case, yes, I'm probably going to stop the recording for a moment. Other than that, we are just, we are just continuing. We are just pulling through because, honestly, I just don't have time to record this at any other moment. And if I wait, I'll have to record it next weekend. So, no, we are doing this now. What else? Oh, some of the people who had seen my previous list may notice that I changed the pictures. These are not the same pictures that I used for the first one. Obviously, when I did the first one, I haven't finished the show yet. So because I didn't want to find any spoilers, I asked a friend to look for the pictures for me. And she was nice enough to look at pictures that were fairly neutral, more like, official photos or things like that. So, everybody looked fine. There wasn't any spoilers or any indication about something that may happen, as much as there can be with just pictures of their faces, I guess. But yeah, I guess there can be some spoilers there. Well, there's definitely some spoilers there, actually, for some of the characters anyway. So that's what we had in the first video. For this video, I just decided to, no, I'm going to change this. I looked for whole new pictures. I think there are some exceptions that I couldn't find better pictures because maybe the characters are not that, they don't have a lot of screen time in the shows. Obviously, they just don't have that many pictures. That for other characters, I just tried to find, the picture that I felt reflected their personality, or not the personality, reflected how I see them in the show. So that's why I think pictures, there are some interesting selections here, I think. So I hope you enjoy the pictures that I selected. The idea is to do the ranking, and at the end, I'm going to go back to the old video and to see how much my opinions change, I guess, if I had, any big changes of heart, which I may have. I don't know. Again, I might, there might be some surprises here. Is there anything else that I had to say? Yes. I wanted to make a small disclaimer, if you will, because after I finished the Untamed, I started to, start exploring fandom a little bit, just dipping my toe into it, because, again, I didn't have that much time to just go, completely full on it. So I have noticed that there's a lot of people who has very strong feelings towards certain characters in particular, but actually I would say probably towards characters in general. And some of these strong feelings surprised me a little bit. Not the fact that they exist. Like, I understand people loving a character, I understand people hating a character. I think that's fine. But the intensity of those feelings surprised me. And the length some people are willing to go to, defend a character and to just expose their opinions to the world about that character. So I want to say that everything that you have in this video is just my opinion. Everybody has a different opinion, and that's fine. If somebody loves a character that I hate, I don't mind. I think everybody likes characters for very different reasons, and it's fine. I don't mind people liking a character or hating a character. That's you can do whatever you like. So if at the end of this video you want to express your opinion about some of my opinions about the characters, if you think that maybe I rank them too low or too high, or just you don't agree with what I said, I don't mind people telling me. Honestly, it's fine. Because I can have shitty opinions. I'm also very sleepy, so I can tell you, I'm going to be saying some stupid things today. But for the most part, I don't mind. As long as, you're not a dick about it. If you're going to be a dick about it, I'm going to just ignore the comment. But please, again, if you don't agree with my choice, then either express it politely or don't express it at all. And just, just leave. essentially. I just don't want to see any hate in the comments. That's it. Because I have seen some things these few weeks, and it was wild. So just that. And obviously I'll be very interesting to see whether people are, maybe there are some characters that you put in a different ranking, and I would love to hear about it. But again, this is all in good fun. So don't take it too seriously, and please don't leave, hateful comments, because I'm very sensitive to them. Okay, I think that's it. I think we can start the ranking. Again, wake up brain, but it's not going to wake up. And it's not even that early. It's just I'm very used to working at night, and I'm very used to waking up late because my other job is in the afternoon. So, it's just, I have to change my sleep patterns, I think. Okay, so let's start. And it's only 11 minutes for the introduction. That's not too bad. Let's just go to the ranking. And the first character that we have is one that, let me tell you, it's going straight to the top. I love Wen Qing. I love her. I think she's probably the most tragic character in the Untamed. And now that I say that aloud, I feel that it's a very bold claim. But you know what? I'm sticking to it. I think she's the most tragic character in the whole show. Because I feel like, for the most part, well, let's say she's the most tragic characters of the characters that they are not terrible. They're not, villains, essentially. But I feel like, I think that's probably what makes her tragic, as a matter of fact. She's a character that lived all her life under Wen Wuxian, and all her life under a person that is essentially just a piece of shit. He's terrible. He's definitely not a nice guy. He also had to stand living with Wen Chao, I guess, which is probably just a nightmare. And oh God, that is actually, that would be actually one of my worst nightmares, because Wen Chao is another piece of shit. And the fact that she had to go through that and at the same time protect his brother, and I feel like she never had at any point in her life a lot of freedom to do what she liked. She didn't have a lot of freedom other than, deciding to stay and protect her brother and protect, that her part of the clan. And the fact that even then she wasn't able to protect them, and things went to shit, essentially, anyway. And, what happened to her brother happened. So I think she's very tragic, but I think what makes her truly tragic is the fact that even despite all of that, she remained like a good person and willing to help other people and willing to sacrifice herself for others. I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about Wen Qing. But interesting information that I find this past few weeks is the fact that actually maybe this is something that everybody knows, but I'm just sharing something that I find out, because obviously I just find out about it. But this may be very old information for everybody else. I find out that originally in the show, Wen Qing was supposed to be like the love interest for Wei Wuxian, and there was supposed to be like a triangle between Wei Wuxian, Xingchen, and Wen Qing, and that at the end of the show, actually, Wei Wuxian was supposed to go find her, and I guess maybe, I don't know if reuniting with her, because I don't know if they could just bring her back from the dead. But, essentially taking Lan Jingyi to the side and putting Wen Qing there, which I think is just no. I'm guessing it was because of censorship. It would be more acceptable to, instead of having like a suggested gay romance, to have I guess heterosexual romance there. It would be more accepted. I'll be honest, I think if that had happened, I don't think the show would be as successful as it is. That's just my opinion. But that would have been wild. And no, No. I don't accept. That is a reality that I don't accept. First of all, I think Wen Qing is awesome. She does, I think putting her in that mess, she already has a lot to deal with her family. Like, we don't have to put her in the middle of a triangle there too. So no. But I also feel like her relationship with Wei Wuxian was always more sibling-like, especially when they were in very old mounts. I feel like after Wei Wuxian lost touch with, the Yang family, like his other family, sounds weird to say it like that, but his other family, he really grew attached to, Wen Qing, to Wen Ning, to the Wens and all of that. And they became, his family too. So I really don't see it. I really don't see Wen Qing as anything other than a sort of sister in a way. But, I love her character. I love her. I think she's very beautiful. I think she didn't deserve whatever happened to her. But, again, probably the most tragic character in the show. But I may change my mind with some other characters. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's just go with the other side of the Wens, and we have Wen Chao there. In hindsight, looking back at the actions of Wen Chao and the whole Wen clan, I kind of look back at them. I think, they were pieces of shit, because that is undeniable. But you know what? They were, at least they were honest about it. Unlike some other people in the show that were literal pieces of shit, but they did it like hiddenly. If that is actually a word. I feel like, what you see is what you get with Wen Chao, at least. Like, he looks like a piece of shit, he acts like a piece of shit, he actually is a piece of shit. So I appreciate that about his character. I appreciate the honesty that we have there. I'm still going to put them in trash. But you know what? It's nice to, I guess, obviously, he's not a very complex character. Although I haven't explored this aspect of the fandom just yet, but I am betting that there has to be at least one fanfic where there is some kind of tragic backstory for Wen Chao, in when Wen Chao is actually, I don't know, treated very poorly with his by his father, which I can very easily imagine, and all sorts of things. And would I read that? Yeah, I probably would, just for the fun of it. But he's still trash. I think, for those who have seen my reactions, they already know this. For those who haven't, let me just say this. Maybe it's going to determine whether you continue watching this or not. I feel like, even if you have a very tragic backstory, even if you have, a backstory that is filled with abuse or, mistreatment and things like that, once you are an adult, there are certain things that are your decision to do or not to do. And that is how I'm going to judge a character, because I think you can have a terrible childhood, you can have a horrifying childhood, and still not, murder people and be a terrible person. Or at least, I would say this because this is obviously a universe where murder is, a little bit, let's say, slightly more accepted than it is today. But I would say that in these cases, there are murderers and murderers. So let me just put it like that. So, I don't know. You can have a horrible childhood, you can have a horrible backstory, a traumatic backstory, and, maybe don't do some of the things that are definitely very bad. I think we are going to see more of this with some other characters. I don't remember how I ended up talking about this, but again, if somebody has that story about Wen Chao, send it my way. I may read it. Maybe. I think also the fact that we haven't seen Wen Chao for a while. Like, obviously, the last time I saw Wen Chao was, when he was killed by Wei Wuxian, I think months ago. So maybe time has softened my view of him to the point that now I just see him as ridiculous more than an actual threat, especially in comparison with some other characters. So that's it. But I'm still going to put it in trash. He's going there. On the other side, I think the character who plays Wen Chao is actually very good looking. So he has that going for him. Although I don't think I have seen him that much like that during the show. Although, maybe. Okay, so let's just put it there. He's going to trash. I suspect that probably I put it lower before, but I don't remember. Next character, Wen Ning. Oh, we're going to put this guy. Of course he's there. Like right next to his sister, where he belongs. Look at that little face. I love that photo of him. That was probably one of my favorite moments of Wen Ning. He trying to sell, was it turnips? Yes, I think so. He trying to sell turnips. Love him. Another very tragic character, but I would say that maybe he's slightly less tragic than his sister, just because he's still alive and he has the possibility, of maybe do other things, as long as you're alive, there's hope, maybe. So he at least has a life ahead of him. He's Wei Wuxian. He found Lan Sizhui. So in that sense, I feel like maybe even though he's technically a corpse, he's still a little bit happier, and his destiny was maybe a little bit happier. At least, so that's what I'm putting there in my beloved, but I love the character. I think he's really sweet. I love the fact how quickly he imprinted to Wei Wuxian, and that was it. He's honestly like a little duckling. And don't get me wrong, he's also very tragic, but something that I admire about him is that even despite everything that happened, he still remains like fairly, obviously, just a very good person, but also fairly innocent, which I think is a nice contrast to the fact that there was a switch that he had. And I don't mean like, what happened to him, when he killed Jin Zixuan. That was something else. But just regularly, it's like he could be like the cutest, most adorable, character. And one moment he has to fight, bam, he's like the Terminator. And I love that about him. I love the duality. He absolutely has the range and he's perfect about it. And again, look at that little face. He's adorable. Love him. Love, Wen Ning. Loves the fact. I have to see the movie. I know there is a movie with him and Lan Sizhui. I didn't get it recommended that much. Actually, I was recommended Fatal Journey, maybe because most people know my feelings for the Nie brothers, and if you will see very soon what my feelings are. But I haven't gotten recommended that film, but I'm still going to watch it. So I'll see a little bit more of him, hopefully. Because, again, that little face. Okay, let's continue with the next one. And wait, because I have a list of the names, within the characters of the names. Oh, the characters of the names. Truly. My brain is amazing. With the names of the characters. And this character is Zixuan? Zixuan. That's the name I'm going with. That's the pronunciation I'm going with. Zixuan, who is, Jiang Cheng and Yanli's mother. And this is a character that I feel is also very divisive. Or rather than divisive, I think that most people hate her. And I think she was definitely not great. I'll start by that. But I feel that, and obviously nothing of what she did was justified. She was definitely, I hesitate to say, abusive, because I don't know. I feel like we obviously don't get the whole picture, and I just don't like throwing words like that around. But I would definitely say that she didn't behave well towards, specifically her children. I don't know about, her husband, who's, right next to her there, but because again, we don't see much about the relationship as a whole. We don't see much, we never get the full picture. We only have her a handful of scenes, and I don't feel that it's enough to judge anything much other than the way she behaves toward her children. Personally, that's what I feel, and that behavior is definitely not good. She's definitely somebody who has very strong opinions, and she expressed them. She definitely treats Wei Wuxian very badly. And I think that all of that is inexcusable. But I honestly can appreciate the fact that she's such a complex character, that you see that she's not that way just because, like they decided, we need somebody to be mean to them, so let's put her. I feel like there was a backstory there. I feel like she was that way for a reason. So that's what I appreciate about the character. So for what I understand, I think now I have to look back because this happened a long time ago. What happened with these characters? But I think it is that maybe Jiang Fengmian had some feelings for Wei Wuxian's mom, or at least that's what she suspected, or that, Xu Zixuan suspected that Jiang Fengmian may have had feelings for Wei Wuxian's mother, and that she didn't love her, and that marriage was a mess. And you know what? In a marriage, sometimes I don't think it's the fault of one person or the other. I think it's probably both. So I'm not going to get in the middle of that. That is whatever it is. I also feel that maybe she was unhappy with the position that she had. Honestly, she gave me very strong vibes of someone who, maybe didn't want to be a mother, but because of society, what was expected of her, so she did. But she gave me that vibe. I don't know based on what. It's just a feeling. I mean, maybe I'll read the book and, it'll be the opposite. But that's the vibe that I got, from her. But, I can appreciate also how, she was a strong character. She was, I like how she defended, Lotus Spear, and again, not so much the way she treated Wei Wuxian, and, everything that she said in other moments. But I don't know. I kind of like when she slapped Wan Jin Liao. What's the name of this character? Wan Jin Ling Jiao. There we go. That part I really liked. So I don't know. I'm going to put it in thin ice. Because to me, she's just there in the middle. Actually, a little bit lower in the middle, because again, she said some things, but I don't know. I don't feel comfortable putting her in the same level as Wen Chao and some of the other characters that I'm going to put in trash. I just don't. Should I put it higher? No. We're going to leave it there. Can I change my opinion later? Maybe. We'll see. We have Jiang Fengmian, another divisive. I feel like unlike, Xu Zixuan, that I said she was a divisive character. I don't think she's a very divisive character. I think most people don't like her. I think Jiang Fengmian is truly a divisive character. I feel like that some people see it as a good person, or not a good person, but some people see him more positively. Some people see him more negatively. I have to say, I like Jiang Fengmian. I think he made some mistakes in his life, and I'm not going to doubt that. I think the mess of his marriage is as much his fault as it is, Xu Zixuan. I have to check. Every time that I say the name, I have to look at it, what it is, because that name, I don't know, it escapes me. So evidently, when it comes to the marriage, I feel like that was his fault as much as hers. In terms of So I don't know. I won't judge him because of that. I feel a lot of people complain about the way he treats Xiangchen, and I feel that is probably one of the things that I sort of understand. I don't know if I approve of it, but I sort of understand how different he treats Wei Wuxian in comparison to Xiangchen. And I think the reason is just that Xiangchen is going to be the next sect leader, so he has a lot more responsibilities. He has a lot more duties and a lot more things to learn, and a certain way that he's expected to behave, or at least his father expects him to behave. So I would say in that sense, I understand why he's a lot more strict towards Xiangchen rather than Wei Wuxian, because, Wei Wuxian is not the next sect leader. He's there, I guess. So it doesn't matter how he behaves. Obviously, it does matter, but, not as much as Xiangchen, I guess. I do feel like maybe he had a soft spot towards Wei Wuxian because of, his parents, and that maybe, he definitely, let's face it, Jiang Cheng has a lot of his mother in him, and maybe Jiang Fengmian saw that in him, and that maybe also affected the way he treated his son. But I don't know. I'm going to put him in there, I guess. Shall I put him higher? Let me think. Is he just okay? I don't know. No, I think he's there. He's there. And again, I would like to know a lot more about these characters. I don't know if there is more information about them in the book, like more backstory, but I feel like I like to know a lot more about the characters. But as I said, what I can really appreciate of the characters is that I don't feel like they are written like that just because. I feel like there is a true backstory and there is a reason why they behave the way they behave. So that I can appreciate. But I think I'm going to leave them there. So the next character is Madame Jin. And I feel sorry for Madame Jin because she has to be married to what is that little piece of shit, Xing Wanshan. So, and obviously we haven't seen that much of her, but what we have seen is that, she's very nice to Yanli, which obviously, who wouldn't? She obviously loves her son very much, and I feel like in that marriage, probably her son was the only thing that she loved and she liked, which again makes her very tragic. He shouted to Jin Guangyao one time, but she was under a lot of stress, I guess. So obviously she's not a character that's a lot there, so I'm going to put like they are there, I guess. But, looking back, I feel sorry for her. And just that. Because, my God, being married to that piece of shit, that is something else. But I don't know, I kind of wish we have seen a little bit more about her. I mean, she was friends with Zhu Zixuan, and I don't know, maybe I would have liked to see more of that friendship. I feel that would have been interesting, but I guess we cannot have everything in life. Okay, so the next character, I don't remember their name, so let me look it up. What is this character name? Do I have it here? No. Do I remember how it's called? No. Do I remember how they call him? And I don't remember. He has a name, but I also think that he's known in like for something else. Oh God, no. I'm just drawing blanks. And I literally didn't include him in my list of characters. But he's here, so he must have... And I remember who he is, obviously. But no, he's not here. So I'm going to call him Wen Chao's friend. That's what we are going to. No, I'm drawing completely blank. So this guy, you know what? I'm not mad at this guy. He obviously had a very shitty power, which is to just destroy golden cores. That was his thing. That's what he was known for. And also he was very let's say, faithful to the Wens. I think he owed them a favor, so now, I don't know, he pledged his life to them, I guess. But I feel, what I like about this guy is that it was just a job. Like, he didn't give a shit about, like, yeah, I'm going to do the things that you want, but it's just a job for me. There wasn't any kind of, like, feelings involved. I feel also that he even thought Wen Chao was a little bit of an idiot, and that he couldn't stand him either. But there were times that he could have said things and he didn't. Like, for example, when Wen Ning gives, drugs everyone so they can rescue Jiang Cheng, I think he realized that whatever he was drinking was drug, and he still drank it. It was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to mess with this. I don't know. He could have said no, but I also feel like he has some kind of connection with Jin Zixuan, which is why maybe he did that. But for example, there were the time where they find Wei Wuxian, and he tries to do the thing that he did, that, crash golden course. And he obviously tried to do it to Wei Wuxian, and he couldn't. And he realized that he didn't have a golden core. He didn't say anything. It was like, oh, strange. Well, guess that's that then. So I can appreciate his character. I'm going to put him in thin ice, right next to, friend Jin Zixuan, because he's just like, how can I describe this character? Just like a character that goes to the office, works, and then goes back home, and then, that's his own. That's what he does. For him, working for Wen Chao was going to the office. He did his job, but that's it. And you know what? Good for him. So I'm very sorry that I don't remember your name, but I'm so sure that at some point during this video, like a half an hour later, I'm going to remember his name out of nowhere, but not yet. And I think this is one of the few characters that I use the original photo that I used in the first video, because he just doesn't have that many photos. And that's a pity, because he's a very good looking guy. And I'm still surprised that I don't have him here in my list. And I thought I had put everyone. No, I'm still shocked about that. Okay, so the next character is Lan Xichen. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this is a character that wasn't here, during my first list, because he hadn't appeared yet, but I really love this guy. I love the fact that this guy, like, he's just, suddenly he appears out of nowhere, and then he's everywhere. He's part of the juniors, which are my favorite group of people in the whole world. And one of my favorite moments of him is when they are fighting, and he says, like, come on guys, we're kind of best friends now. And it's like so sweet. I just love their, yes, they're best friends. I love the fact that he defended Wei Wuxian to his father. Like, another favorite moment is when they are, after they leave burial mounds, and his father was telling him to come to the boats, and he's there with Wei Wuxian and said, you know what, Dad, why don't you sit down for a moment, let me be. I love him. He's a spoken, he's very sweet. I love this guy. I'm not going to put him in my beloved, but I'm going to put him in best pals and gals, because he's great. He's a great guy. And again, I would love to have seen more of the juniors. Definitely my favorite group of people in the whole world. The next one. Another one that goes straight to the top. She is. That's right. Yanli is probably responsible for making me cry the whole show. Like, I got to the point where I can just listen to Yanli's theme and just cry. I don't know what it is. I don't know what about me I imprinted so hard on her. I suspect probably because I'm also an older sister who had to take care of younger brothers. And I don't know, maybe there is something on that, but I just love her. I love her soup. although it doesn't look that tasty, but I'm sure it was great because she made it. I love everything about her. And I really appreciate the fact that she was a character that didn't seem like, at least in comparison to other characters that were more like physically strong, she always seemed, more, I don't want to say weak, but I think that's the way she appeared to be. But when she had to do things and when she had to say things, I appreciate that she did. And I absolutely love Yanli. I love her relationship with her brothers. I love her relationship with Jin Zixuan. What happened to her was absolutely tragic. I feel, from the Untamed, I feel like that is one of the moments that make me cry the hardest. Her death was absolutely devastating, I think. But again, to the point that later in the show, they didn't have to show her. They just have to put the music of her and I'll just start crying. Like, it's like a probably, no, I'm not going to try to say this word this early in the morning, but it was definitely a reaction that I had. And she's there straight to the top. Love her. Okay, next character, another character that I love. I feeling like a lot of characters are going to be in that position, but I love Lan Jingyi. I love him. I just love him. I feel like he's definitely a character that is very different to the rest of the Lans. He's definitely very outspoken. I love the fact that he doesn't give a shit to who he's talking to. Like, he could be talking to just a random person or a sect leader who is older than him. It doesn't matter. He's going to speak his mind in the way that he does. And I feel that is absolutely great. I also love the thing that he has with Lan Sizhui whenever they are, and I noticed that they do it for Lan Wangji, but they also do it a little bit for Lan Xichen. The fact that they are kind of like interpreters for them, like they are going to speak for them, when apparently neither Lan Xichen or Lan Wangji feel like speaking. I see they did that for Lan Wangji in the second episode, and for Lan Xichen when they were in burial mounds. And I love it. And I love the fact that Lan Sizhui is like the more diplomatic one, while Lan Jingyi is just wild. He's just savage. He's the one who, expresses just the angry part of what is being interpreted. And I love him for it. And I also love the fact that he was such a big Lan Wangji fanboy. I love the moment in the show where, they were looking at Lan Wangji fight, and he asked Wei Wuxian if he didn't thought Lan Wangji was great, and Wei Wuxian hesitated, and this guy, it was like, no, unacceptable. Why are you not saying yes right away? I love that about him. So I was going, you know what, I'm going to put it right here. He's best pals and gals. I would have loved to see more of the juniors. But again, if obviously this is not something that was written by the original author, but if anybody wants to write an original script just with the juniors, I don't have any money, so I won't give you any money, but I will support it essentially, because I would love to see that. Okay, so the next character is Qin Su. She was Jin Guangyao's wife, whose appearance greatly surprised me in the show for reasons that I think that are obvious. But I feel she's another very sad character. Obviously, what happened to her was terrible. What I would say in favor of Jin Guangyao, and I mentioned this before, I think he was a good husband to her, other than the murder, which that's a strange sentence. But, before she find out what she find out, I feel that she had a good relationship with him. It's not like he mistreated her or anything like that. So I would say that in favor of Jin Guangyao. But on the other hand, he also did other things. And I don't think it's clear in the show. So, or rather, I feel like maybe it's more up to our own interpretation, but my interpretation is that Jin Guangyao definitely had a hand in her death. Like, I know technically she killed herself, but I think, it was awfully convenient that happened. So I feel like he had some hand at what happened to her. So, that is very sad, for her. I'm going to put her in just okay because we don't know that much about her. But, she seemed like a nice lady. And I can appreciate that. And she was married to Jin Guangyao, which is, no, again, they had a pretty good marriage, I'll say. Okay, the next character is Susha. And I tried to look for a picture where he was doing one of the things that he does. I don't know if this is a thing the actor does, or just the way he acts, like he acts with his eyebrows and his eyes, or if it's something that he did especially for Susha. But I find it hilarious. That is the thing that I found hilarious about him. I also find him attractive at some points in the story for some reason. Not for some reason, he's a very attractive guy. It was difficult to see through him being a dick. So I think that was the barrier that I had between me and finding him attractive. But there were moments when I say, you know what? He's alright. His looks, not his behavior. I don't like Susha. I feel that I just don't like him. It's just the way it is. I feel, especially at the end, I feel he put this excuse of, other people treating him like that because, and this is not only him, Jin Guangyao used the same excuse. Other people treating him like that because he was supposed to be like from a lower class or something like that. And I feel, I don't know. I feel that's just an excuse. And I'm not denying that there is a class issue in this universe, but I don't know. He still choose to be a dick. So I don't know if that give him a pass. I feel like it was an excuse. I don't feel, and also the fact that he wasn't a defender of the lower classes. I mean, the moment he left the Lan clan, he decided to create his own clan and reach for that class. So I don't know what to tell you. It seems like nobody respected him, but maybe you should also look inside and think why people are not respecting you. Maybe it's because you are a little bit of a dick. And that's why. But again, I don't deny that there is a huge problem when it comes to class in this show. I just think that Susha is using that as an excuse for being a dick. And that's what we had. He also had a very strange relationship with Jin Guangyao at the end there. I don't care for that at all. I'm going to pretend I didn't see anything. Okay, so I'm going to put him in trash. Because I feel like he did bad things, but ultimately he was just a lackey. He was just following Jin Guangyao. So, and again, another, no, let's leave it there. Okay, so the next character is Jin Zixuan, and I choose a picture of my favorite moment of Jin Zixuan, which is when he was confessing to Yang Li in front of everybody. That moment is, I feel, probably, there are several moments in the Untamed that I really like. I feel like that is definitely a top 10 moment for me. The moment he starts talking and then he looks to the side and he realizes that everybody is just looking at them, and then Xichen is just smiling saying, oh, go ahead, because he's really enjoying the show. I guess he's just appreciating that somebody is confessing, something. Is that, everything about that scene is amazing. The way he just runs is just, love him. And Jin Zixuan is a character at the beginning, obviously, I think we were meant to. At the beginning, I definitely didn't like him. He was behaving like an idiot. But you know what? Looking back, I think it's a miracle that he's not worse than he is, considering who his father was. I guess he's definitely a mama's boy. Let's put it like that. Definitely, her mother had a very important role in his life in raising him, and you can tell. I feel like it's nice to see that everything, all that pride that he had at the beginning was maybe just, a front for him, but deep down he's just actually, just an awkward boy, and I can appreciate that, and I like his relationship with Yanli. Their song together is probably the other one that made me cry too, so I'm going to put him best pals and gals. Like, he's not my beloved. He had some dick moments too, but I have come to appreciate him. I like him. So there he is. And again, I rewatching that scene is going to be great, because my favorite scene in the whole show. No, there are others, but one of them. Okay, so the next character is Song Lang. Again, talking about tragic characters. Again, not as tragic as Wen Qing, I'll say. I still support my very bold statement, but definitely a very sad character. What I have to say is that I feel a lot of people they really love the VCT arc, and I really enjoyed it, but I don't think I would like to see it again. I feel like I suffered enough, or at least maybe not the flashback. Like, I enjoyed the part with juniors and all of that, but let's face it, that flashback killed me. So I don't know if I would watch it again. I feel like what I watched, that's it. That being said, I absolutely love Song Lang and Xiao Xishen's relationship. What happens to them is terrible. I love the role that they have in the story as like parallels for Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangxi. And I don't know, they're just sad. So I'm going to put them here in best pals and gals, because it's just a sad story, and I don't want to think that much about him. This next guy, sect leader Ouyang, who is Ouyang's Xishen's father, and I honestly don't know that much about this guy, but except the fact that he seems to be friends with sect leader Xiao, so that's why I included. And also he had some opinions. I included him because his son essentially humiliated him in front of all the sect leaders, and that was a moment that I really enjoyed. So I'm going to put them like, they are there, I guess. And that's it, because I honestly don't know absolutely anything else about this guy, other than the fact that he was often seen with sect leader Xiao in the later episodes. So I guess, my guess is that they're friends. The next character is Xiao Xingchen. And again, another very, very tragic character. And I would say, obviously, we have seen more of Xiao Xingchen than we saw from Song Lang. But what we saw was definitely very tragic, from the fact that he gave up his eyes for Song Lang after Xueshang did something to them. I think he threw like powder to them or something like that. But he's, again, such a sad character. But I really appreciate characters that have like this, a lot of issues, and they have a lot of problems in their life, but they still manage to be decent people. They still manage to, be nice and help others. And I think that's what makes Xueshang, betrayal at the end so terrible. I just don't. That was so sad. I'm going to put him here in best pals and gals too, right next to his friend / husband Song Lang. And one of the moments that I love about, I know that isn't technically not with this character, but it's with the same actor. I love when the actor is playing Xueshang before Xueshang take the mask. I absolutely love his performance. I think he was amazing at that. Like he really channeled Xueshang, and that was, that was great. Love that performance. And I also love his relationship with Qing. I think it was really sweet. And that is pretty much it. Then it's just sadness. Yeah, definitely when I rewatch the show in the future, I'm definitely skipping some parts. Just unless I want to feel sad. In that case, I'll definitely put them. Okay, so the next character, it technically doesn't have a name, I guess, or at least he doesn't have a name that I find out. But I think his fourth uncle, that's how he's known. And again, I just put him because I really like the Wens. I feel like they definitely got, they got the worst of the story, but I love the burial mounds community. I absolutely love them, so I had to put them. Obviously there were a lot of more characters, but I don't remember them. And I think I don't even remember if they have like lines or anything like that. So I'm putting the two that I actually remember having any sort of actual role in the story. And fourth uncle, I think, also made alcohol. I think he made the alcohol Wei Wuxian gets drunk to when they are in burial mounds. And that's, I think, pretty much, I think we also saw him growing some crops, I guess. So, again, I hate what happened to them. You know what? He's going to Best Pals and Gals. What a great guy. We don't know anything about him, but I feel like I should put him in Just Okay, but I don't feel comfortable putting him in Just Okay. Again, the ones suffer enough. They deserve a little treat, and my treat is to put them a little bit higher in the ranking. Sect Leader Zhao. I have very conflicting feelings towards Sect Leader Xiao, because on the one hand, I think he's a terrible person. I think he's just horrible. On the other hand, I find him very funny because he's just always there. He's always shouting his opinions. He always have to, attract attention to everyone. Like he always have to be on the front saying something. And he's like from one of the minor sects. I'm not saying that because he's one of the minor sects, he's supposed to have an opinion, but I feel like a lot of the issues were involving like the main sects, which again, obviously, whatever issue the main sects have are going to involve the minor sects. But he's just this random guy that appears out of nowhere and start having opinions, and everybody has to listen to him. And I find that hilarious. I find hilarious how quickly he changed his opinions just to suit whatever's happening. You know what? I'm going to put in Just Okay. Because he's just funny. He loves to gossip. In the end, I feel, and also, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We've seen him trying to get the yin iron and definitely killing some people. So he's definitely not saint. But again, I just find him funny. So I'm going to put him there. And I can appreciate a character like that. And also because I feel it's a character that, with his opinions, he's definitely indicating you what's the opinion of, let's say, like the mass, like the rest of the world as a group. Like, I feel like whenever you don't know, what's other people thinking? What's the opinion of the people? You just have to hear to this guy, because he's going to be there shouting that at you. So I like that role that he has. And again, he's a dick, but he's funny. So that's enough for me. So Just Okay, I think it's great. The next character, we have Wen Shu. Wen Shu is a character that I didn't include in my first list, even though he only appears in the first part of the Untamed and then he's killed. But I guess he didn't consider his role very important in the first time around. And I still don't. But I watched Worth of Honor, and now I had a soft spot for the actor, so I included him anyway. I also included him looking handsome, because he's a very handsome guy. And I'm not sure, maybe I should have looked this up before doing this, but is it Wen Shu also Wen Ruhan's oldest brother? Which it feels like it should be Wen Chao, but apparently it's this guy? Or am I completely confused? He doesn't do much. Does he even have dialogue? Oh, yes, he has dialogue because he talked to Lan Wangji when they were in hiding. But he definitely, I'm going to put it like they are, I guess. He doesn't have a lot to do in the show. He's killed pretty quickly. He seemed very angry for the time that we saw him, so that's all I can say about him. But, you know, I don't hate him because obviously I didn't get to see him that much. Okay, the next character, another one who's going straight to the top. Not even hesitating. Mianmian. I love Mianmian. And yes, I know that she technically has a name, which is Luo something. But she's always going to be Mianmian in my heart. I absolutely love her. She's the only female character that survives the show, I think, unless I'm mistaken. But from what I'm seeing, from looking down at the characters that we have here, I think that's possible. That she's the only one. And I loved her. And that is obviously one of my favorite moments when she stood for Wei Wuxian. And I feel like I really admire how much integrity she has. Like how she is not willing to compromise her values for anything. She's not willing to, just accept things because other people tell her. And how brave she had to be to stand up surrounded by all these men that definitely had very different opinions, and she's just stood up with them. And then she said, you know what, fuck it, no more, I'm leaving. And I think that's probably the best decision she made. And maybe I think it's not a coincidence that she left like this world, or at least the clans and all of that, and she's the only one who survived. I think that maybe is a commentary of how women are treated in within these groups. But yeah, I love her. I love the fact that she just fuck off and then got herself a rich husband who goes night hunting with her. And I feel like he's pretty handsome too. I like him. I didn't include him in the list because we don't even know his name, and he obviously didn't have that much impact in the story. But I approve of that. I approve of the choices that she made, and I was so happy to see her in the later episodes when they went to her house. I loved it, and I just loved her. I was just happy to see her. So Mian going there up top. Love her. Okay, so the next character I think is Granny Wen. I think that's how she's known. The same thing that with Uncle Fourth. They have, although what I would say about Granny Wen is that we did see her before, so I think we have maybe more story for her, because we see her when Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji and Nie Huaisang go to this village where there is like the fairy statue and all of that. So we know a little bit more about her. I will have to check these scenes to see maybe if we see Uncle Fourth in those scenes too, because honestly I don't remember, but I guess they were all living there, so maybe he was. And again, Granny Wen, she's a pretty nice character, so I'm going to put her there. Best gals and pals. I feel like I should put that the other way around. Best pals and gals, which sounds better, but there we go. That's all I have to say about her. Obviously, she's not a huge character in the grand scheme of things, but I feel like together with Uncle Fourth and all that, they really managed to create this sense of family in the burial mounds and this sense of community. And I appreciate that. I really liked, what they had going there until, they didn't have it anymore. Okay, so the next character, Xingchen. And before you tell me anything, I just had to look for the funniest picture that I could find from him. But not only the funniest picture, but a picture that I felt encapsulated his character. And I think that is the best one. I think that's the best one yet. And this is not, I think the actor who plays Xingchen is incredibly attractive. But I just feel like that is how I see Xingchen. I'm so sorry. And definitely Xingchen is that character that I was, not the only one, but that character that I feel a lot of people have very strong feelings about. Some people absolutely hate him to the point of pretty much dedicating whole, blogs to him, and some other people the opposite. Some other people absolutely love it. And I have to say, I'm sort of in the middle. I find him a very interesting character. I find him, that his actions are very, they make sense considering everything that we know about him, considering his backstory and all of that. I feel like I understand why he behaves the way he behaves. And, he has some issues. He has some issues about expressing his feelings. He has some issues about his anger. And he has some issues about how, inadequate he feels in comparison to Wei Wuxian, and all of that. But I think there's also a lot of positives. And if you consider the fact that, Xingchen had to build his sect, up, from, nothing essentially, and without very little help, because he received very little help from the other sects, and he did it very well, and he was alone, and there is a lot going on there. I feel like another thing that people had against him is the fact that he didn't help the Wens, and he didn't help Wei Wuxian. And personally, I don't feel, I'm not that mad about that, I feel that in the position that he was in at that point, again, rebuilding his sect from zero, and especially considering the position the Jins were in, that were pretty much just like before. They didn't have any damage. Like, after the war, a lot of the sects were very much affected by it and suffer a lot of the consequences after the war. The Jins weren't one of them. And that is something that put them in a position where they could do things, and other sects pretty much had to think twice about going against them, because maybe they didn't have the power that they used to have. And I think that when it comes to Xingchen and the Shang sect, I think Xingchen just have to think of his own sect. Like, he just have to say, I can't go against the Jins, because right now what I need to do are the things that I need to do to make my sect survive. So I don't think he could afford helping the Wens in the way that some people expected him to help them. On the other hand, I have only watched the Untamed. I know that in the original novel, maybe things are different in the way they are portrayed, the way he's portrayed. So maybe my feelings will change after the novel. But for now, I'm still thinking about where to put Xingchen. I feel like he should go just there in the middle, because he did a lot of things that I don't approve. I'm going to put him in just okay. I want to put him higher, but I don't think he's the best pal. I'm going to put him in just okay, because he did some things that I don't approve. But I really like him as a character. I love his relationship with Jingling. I feel like through Jingling we can see that that's just the way he is. Like, he's just angry all the time, and he expresses things angrily, but it's not that he doesn't feel things. And I feel that at the end, no, wait, I just remember what he did for Wei Wuxian at the end. I'm going to put him in best pal. I just wait. I remember the end of the show, but I will still put him a little bit lower. Like if I could put him right here, like I would, but I will put him there because he did sort of sacrifice himself for Wei Wuxian there at we will reveal at the end, but yeah, we're going to leave it there. We're going to with that one. Are we? Yeah, we're going with that one. But I don't know. As I said, maybe when I read the book, my feelings will change and I'll think something different. But for now, I don't mind. I don't mind Xingchen. Yeah, I guess I don't mind him. So I'm going to put it just again. I keep thinking, I keep changing my feelings about him. But I did appreciate that that thing that we have at the end. But he does have some behavior. He's definitely very angry, and I also feel that, especially after the 16 years, he did manage to convince himself that Wei Wuxian was probably responsible for everything that happened to him. And I think I already mentioned this, that I think that that's probably like a mechanism that he's using for his own sake, because he truly loves Wei Wuxian, and you know, because he loves him, he needs to find some kind of reason to hate him, just to make a sense of things. And, you know, even though he's wrong, he's definitely doing it, you know, I think he wouldn't blame him as much if he didn't love him deep down. So, there we go. Oh, my voice is just leaving. Xingchen, just okay. Could be better, but I don't have anything in the middle here to put him into. So we're just going to leave it there, because he had some dick reactions. He had some, you know, some moments that I didn't approve of. But, you know, as a whole, despite the fact that I'm going to put in just okay, I think he's probably one of the most complex and more interesting characters in the show. And even if it's different from the novel, I can appreciate the fact that they make him this way, because it allowed me to really understand why he's the way he is and why he behaves the way he is. And I don't know, I like him. But I also feel like a lot of the reasons why he's mad at Wei Wuxian, I feel some of them are valid, and I feel like some of them are not so much. Like, for example, I don't feel that he being mad that Wei Wuxian didn't fulfill his promise to spend, you know, his whole life working by his side. I don't feel like you should, you know, it was a promise that they made when they were teenagers. I feel like I promised a lot of my best friends through my teenage years that we are going to be friends forever, and there are people that then I never seen again. So when you're a teenager, you just promise things because you don't realize the implications of, you know, of the rest of your life. Or also, I don't think they also understood what was, you know, what was going to happen to them. But even if nothing happened, even if there was no war and they lived peacefully in Lotus Pier, I don't believe for a second that Wei Wuxian would have been happy working for Xingchen, and I don't believe, you know, Xingchen would have been happy having Wei Wuxian just working with him. And I'll tell you why. I don't think Wei Wuxian is his personality. I don't think he's suited to work under everyone. I think he's best suited to do whatever he likes. And also, he said it himself, like, he's a character that definitely thinks very highly of him, of himself. And let's face it, Xingchen has a huge sense of inadequacy. And he definitely because of reasons, Xu Zixuan, he keeps comparing himself to Wei Wuxian. And the fact is, Wei Wuxian is extremely good. He's not comparison. Like, Xingchen is okay. He's just okay, actually. But, Wei Wuxian is just extremely talented. And he's never not going to be extremely talented. And I don't think Xingchen would have loved to be able to live with that for the rest of his life, knowing that his second in command is better than him. I think that they have this sort of relationship that is better at a distance, being away from each other and just visiting occasionally. I feel like, they wouldn't have been happy, working together, like having Wei Wuxian working for him. So that's my opinion. So I feel like in that, Xingchen didn't have like a lot to stand on when, obviously his feelings are his feelings and that's fine. But I feel like, come on, it was a promise made a long time ago. But on the other hand, although I don't share it completely, I do understand how he feel abandoned at some point in the story. Well, Wei Wuxian was Imperial Mounts, but I feel like that is just everything that was happening to him. Like, Yanli was going to get married, Wei Wuxian went away, he was alone as a sect leader. It must have been a really hard time for him. But he's just okay. I feel like I keep justifying the fact that I put him just okay. But I do enjoy his character. And one of my favorite things in the character in the story happened because of him. I absolutely love when he's mad at Wei Wuxian and call his name. That is the best part of the show. I absolutely love it. And I would say something that I don't know how popular it is in for other people, but I actually would have liked to see a relationship between him and Wen Qing. I feel Wen Qing is like a very strong person, but at the same time, she also has like some niceness or some softness in her. So I think they would have maybe been an interesting character, because I think she could have, maybe dealt with the way he behaved by just, maybe ignoring him. I don't know. I feel like they would have been a very interesting couple. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so the next character is, Wan Lingjiao. And I mean, I can already tell you I'm going to put her in trash. I'm also going to put her right next to Wen Chao. Just because I can. She definitely was something. And again, I'm sure that deep down maybe there is a reason why she behaved the way she behaved. Obviously, as we said before, this is a universe that it doesn't seem to treat women very well. And especially in her case, she's she's a woman from a lower class. So I think that is an added difficulty that she had. But on the other hand, she behaved like absolute trash. So that's all I can say about it. That's all I have to say. I also say that for a long time when I was watching this show, like the best part, the first part of the show, when we have like Wen Chao and this woman Wan Jingliao, Ling Jiao, for a long time it's like, oh, I wish somebody would kill them. I wish somebody would kill them. And they actually killed them. I actually feel sorry for them. So good, well done for this show. That was a twist, and they definitely had a very horrible, very horrible death. But they were very horrible people, so I guess they had what was coming to them. I guess. I don't like seeing violent things, so it's not like I actually enjoy watching that. But I don't know. They what was coming. They were definitely horrible people. Okay, who's next? Lan Yi. Is that? her name, I'm going to guess so, because she's also not on my list. I left most characters outside of that list, apparently. No, she's not. So Lan Yi, she is there in the story just to give a mission to Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian. I'm going to put her in there, I guess. I like her as a character, and I like this hint of a backstory between her and Bao Shen Saren. But, you know, eventually that was it. She wasn't there for long, so there is not that much that we can say about her, other than the fact that, I don't know, was she in a relationship with Bao Shen Saren? She definitely seemed very fond of her, and I would have liked to see them fight, because I got excited there for a moment when it seemed like there was going to be some kind of fight. I was like, oh, this looks interesting, and then no, we didn't have anything of that. But she was there, and she was a sect leader, which again and she admits that it wasn't easy for her to be a sect leader, being a woman and all of that. So I don't know, but she's there. I don't think I can put her higher than this. The next one is a Qin. I love a Qin. I love her personality. I love the fact that she was just there to steal men wallets. That's very good on her. Good job. Again, very sad what happened to her. I love her relationship with Xingchen too. How he protected her, and how, that moment when she sort of was trying to trick him and things like that. It was just, great. And she didn't deserve what happened to her. I'm going to put her right here. Let's put her here in the middle between her dads. And that photo of her, I actually wasn't sure if it was the actress, because she looks so much younger in that photo than she looks in the show, which I think makes things so much worse. I guess we are never told how old she is, but I think she's fairly young, like a teenager or something like that. So yeah, that makes things so much more horrible than they were. But you know what? Great job. She was very, very good pretending to be blind. She did a good job. Not that it was good that she was pretending to be blind, but she seemed to do a very good job at it, enough to convince Xue Shang, I think. So she must have been very good at it. And I don't know. Again, she's a woman from a lower class. I don't think she's even a cultivator. So she did whatever she had to survive, and good for her. And I feel sorry that she got involved in whatever mess was going on there with these guys. So of that, I am really sorry. She didn't deserve what she got, and that's all I can say about her. So the next character, Xin Guanshan. What a piece of shit. I think you know where I'm going to put this guy. Right here at the bottom. I hate this guy. But to be fair, I hated him from the first moment. Well, no, I didn't hate him from the first moment. But I was suspicious of him because his beard makes him look like the devil. So already there I said, this guy, there's something about him. And I was right. There was a lot of things about him. In his favor, I'm going to say that I still don't approve of the way he was killed. Like, I don't care who he was. I feel like what happened to him, I'm not going to go too much into it because I know that it can be triggering for a lot of people. So, I'm not going to give you a lot of details. But what happened to him was definitely non-consensual, and I that is something that I don't accept regardless of who you are. Like, you can be the worst piece of shit in the world, like is this case, but that is something that I find horrifying. So no, I mean, I think you could just stab him in the back and that's it. There was no need to do that. And I'm looking at you, Jin Guangyao, and I feel like he's looking at me too. I feel like there was no need to do that. There was no need to involve other people. And I'm going to talk more about this when we see Jin Guangyao. As for Jin Guangshan, a piece of shit in every sense of the word. So I don't know what else can I say about this guy. He treated women horribly. He treated other people horribly. He treated his son horribly. And I mean Jin Guangyao, not Jin Zixuan. I'm guessing he treated Jin Zixuan okay. I'm guessing. But I'm guessing he treated his wife terribly. He always looks sweaty for some reason. Or maybe it's just that picture. But I have that idea of him. Like, he always looks oily. You know what I mean? And I think that's maybe part of the character. I don't know. That's just the impression that I'm getting. Hate him. Absolutely hate him. So, there he is. I think that there is no doubt that is the way he belongs. Who's next? Xueshang. I have a lot of feelings about Xueshang. A lot of people seem to really like him or sympathize a lot more than I do. I feel. I don't sympathize with him that much. I mean, I feel sorry for him because it's obvious that he had, not a very, well, I think that's an understatement. He definitely had a terrible childhood, a very traumatic childhood. And I would say that with time, maybe I sympathize, but just a sliver, just a small bit. I still don't sympathize completely with him. I think, obviously you can have a terrible childhood and you can have, a very traumatic childhood, but what bothers me about the character and what I find terrible, first is the fact that after everything that he went through, his first reaction to what, knowing that Xiao Sheng saved him and was nice to him and all of that, his first reaction was still doing whatever he did. So no, that's not great, guy. No. And also how much he enjoyed causing pain. I don't know. That's just something that I didn't like. I didn't enjoy. I'm just going to put him here in toxic waste. Not only because I don't like him, but because I also think that he's toxic. So, I just, no. And I think I'm never going to forgive him for what he did. So he's there. And again, I understand, I appreciate the complexity of the character. I appreciate, seeing a character like that and, I can feel sympathy for him in a way. Well, I already said that I didn't feel sympathy, but, you know what I mean. I can feel sorry for him. I can understand, what happened to him and how it shaped him. But at the same time, and I think obviously he's definitely a character that speaks a lot about how, the cycles of abuse are repeated and repeated, sometimes, and that's just obviously very tragic. He also is a very tragic character, but I would put him, I think it's a competition for Wen Qing, but I'll still put Wen Qing at the top because, she was nicer. So, at the top of my list of tragic characters that I'm just inventing. So now there, I at some point, I can understand doing some things like murdering people and all of that, which, again, in the real world, I don't approve at all. But I would understand it, doing it for specific reasons, but I feel like he went overboard. Like he said, I'll take revenge in this clan because they were mean to me, but you still killed, children and things like that, which is not great. If you want to take revenge on the people that hurt you, or even, I don't know, if you think that there were people who knew what's happening and they didn't do anything, then take revenge on them too. But what do the children have to do? Why? no. So he's there. I'm not going to change my mind. That's the position that I'm going to put him. I would also say about Shui Shang, at the beginning, I didn't really like his acting, in the first few episodes. I don't know why. I think I find him, like, too exaggerated. I just didn't enjoy the performance. I did like him a lot more, like, for the Yi City arc. That part, I feel like maybe it was a lot better suited, because I don't know, I feel like this unhinged energy that he had was a lot better in that situation than that one. But I don't know. At the beginning, I wasn't a huge fan. I would say that I definitely like the character a lot more after Yi City. But sadly, that also means that I like the character a lot less because of what he did. Okay, so the next character, Nie Huaisang. I fucking love Nie Huaisang. I'm going to put him up there, of course. And I know some people consider him also a villain in the story because of the revelation that we had. I don't consider him a villain. I think he did what he had to do. And, I guess he did some things that were very shady, but at the end of the day, I just love him. That's just the way it is. And to me, that revelation was a shock. If you have seen my reactions, I knew that there was a character like pulling the strings backstage of what was happening, but I didn't know what it was. And I think I without a joke, I suspected all of the characters. Like, I didn't even mention all of my suspicions when I was doing this, because they were a lot. I think at some point I probably suspected Lan Xichen. I think at some point I probably suspected Lan Wangji, Lan Jiren, everyone. I suspected Lan Sizhui. Every character I suspected, except him, because to me, he was my useless baby boy. And it turns out that he wasn't useless. And to me, that was amazing. How they changed this character that was essentially, I mean, I don't want to be mean, but he was a character that was like just for decoration before. Like, he wasn't a character that had a lot to do in the story, that had a lot of impact in the story, and suddenly you realize that he had all of the impact that he had, he had it all. So that to me was such a twist. I loved it. I haven't rewatched the first episodes yet, but I do suspect that I have some idea where I might have seen him, but I'm not going to say anything more. I'm going to watch, I'm going to do a reaction to rewatching the first few episodes, and we'll see. But I have already some suspicions. But that's it. Love him. I have to see Fatal Journey. I'm going to be reacting to Fatal Journey at some point. I don't know when, maybe next weekend. So not this one, but next one. But I just love him. And look at that little face. I was going to put the moment where he looked, that moment in the story where, Lan Xichen was tending to Jin Guangyao, and then suddenly, Nie Huaisang looks up, and that's when you realize, oh God, there was something happening there. I wanted to put that moment, but I couldn't find it. And I guess I could have gone back to, to take a screen cap of that, but just didn't. And I look at the little face. I feel that, Nie Huaisang is a character that I think he truly wouldn't have liked if Nie Minjue hadn't died, or maybe if he had died in a different way, I feel like he wouldn't have done all of that he did. I feel like he's a character that he liked doing the things that he liked, and that's it. He liked, painting fans and reading poetry and just, that's it. That's what he liked. He liked not doing anything. He liked having no responsibilities. And I feel like what happened to him is something that he was forced into, or something that he felt that he had to do. But I don't know. In that way, I think also it's very sad for him, because, you know, obviously what he did was for his brother. And I really love it. I also like the relationship between Nie Mingjue and Nie Huaisang. I have a lot of feelings about the Nie brothers, so I'm really looking forward to see Fatal Journey. But in the meantime, look at that. Look at that adorable little face. I love him. And I love the fact that he is a lot smarter than he is. And I think that's it. That's where I'm putting him. Jin Guangyao. I have feelings about Jin Guangyao. I have a lot of feelings, most of them negative, I have to say. I don't like him. I feel like nothing I have heard for his excuses for the actions that he did I care about. I don't think they were valid. I think ultimately he did everything because he wanted power. He can put it as nicely as he likes. He put it in whatever way he likes it. But all of his actions ended up with him having power. And what a coincidence. I don't like, not only don't I like the fact that he was responsible for a lot of deaths in the show, I really don't like the way he killed Jin Guangyao. I feel like there was no need to do that. There was no need to, kill him in that way. I feel there was no need to involve other women. And I feel, look, his mother was a prostitute, and he keep trying to show other people that him being the son of a prostitute was not going to stop him in, becoming someone that is not something that defined him. And that is fine. And that is true. Again, it's true that this is a highly classist world where obviously characters that come from humble beginnings, so we have like backgrounds like Jin Guangyao, find it more difficult to, make their way higher than they are. And that is all true. However, if after going to the top and after becoming who you want to become, you take vulnerable women like, your mother, and you decide to force them to rape somebody and then kill them, knowing that the situation these women were in, because he didn't choose just any women. He chose the women, the prostitutes that, they find more difficult to get clients because they were older, or because maybe they weren't as nice looking as other ones. And he offered them a lot of gold. So he put them in a position where they couldn't really say no because they obviously needed the money. And then he forced them to rape somebody to death, and then he killed them. And I can explain how much of a piece of shit you have to be to do that, especially knowing what his mother went through, and the fact that he still do that, and the fact that he's still willing to do that. And I have read a lot of things about Jin Guangyao, because I'm honestly very curious about the people who actually defend him. And again, if you defend him, that's fine. That's your own thing. I still feel that I can, to me, no. Again, I don't mind him killing Jin Guangyao. I would say that although I hate it, and I'm going to hate him because of it, I understand why he killed Jin Zixuan, because obviously he wanted power, and I can understand. And, it's the way of this world. He felt he had to do it, he did it, that's it. Again, I'm not going to forgive him because of that, because I like him, but I like Jin Zixuan. But I understand that. But it's the details for me with Jin Guangyao. It's not the fact that he kills, but it's how he kills and how much he enjoys it. That I just can't. The fact that, I mean, what more can I say? Also, the fact how he killed Nimindre, the fact that he exploited what was essentially, a mental illness just to kill him, like when he was pretending to help him, a piece of shit. You didn't have to kill him that way. You didn't and also the fact that he was truly enjoying it when he was, when he was killing him. That's another thing. But you didn't have to kill him like that. You could have found some other way. But no, that's the decision that he made. I just can't. I just can't. I know, and for a lot of people, also the fact that he killed his son. To me, I don't think from the show it's completely clear that he did. I believe he did. That's my belief. But it's just my belief. I don't think it's, actually confirmed in any way that he killed, his son. So that one, I'm going to put like in the maybe pile. But everything else that he did, the fact that for some reason he thought his excuse for blaming Wei Wuxian and creating all the problems for Wei Wuxian was, well, there has to be some problems within sex, so why not this one? What? The fact that he wanted to place himself like, again, like a world-class hero when he's probably one of the greatest class traitors that we have in this show, because, yeah, you are. And again, everything, I just feel, what I'm going to put him, his toxic waste. If there was a place lower than him, I'll put him. And I think that's probably the greatest irony in this show, the fact that everybody was really concerned about him having a prostitute for a mother. I think they should have concerned themselves him having Xing Wenshan as a father, because I think he was a lot more similar to him than Jin Zixuan could ever be. Like, the way he got power, how power hungry he was, the way he treated women. I mean, let's face it, for him, women were just objects that were either things that helped him get where he was, and, when they were no longer useful, then he discarded them. And yes, maybe he treated Chin Su very well during his marriage, but the moment she wasn't, useful, and the moment she became a problem for him, she died very coincidentally. So I just don't like him. I understand that maybe some people can have more sympathy for him. I'm not going to be one of them. I don't know. Maybe I'll read the book and change my mind. But for now, I hate him. And that's where... And again, if I had a lower tier, I'll put him in a lower tier. No, I think he's on level with Xing Wenshan. So maybe I'll put them both in a lower tier. Because honestly, trash. No, worse than trash, actually. Okay, so then next we have... I feel like we're going to high-low. The next one is Wei Wuxian. You know where I'm putting him. I love his face there. I think encapsulates what a gremlin he is in the show. I love him. I love Wei Wuxian. I think he's not... I know that there was a lot of changes from the book to from the novel to the show, and one of those changes were making him like a more a more clearly a hero, so a more in terms of black and white, like in the hero side of that. So they take out a lot of the grace in his in his character. I feel that there was still plenty of gray. I think that he still makes some mistakes. He's not a perfect character. He's definitely very smart in some aspects and not very smart in some others, like a lot of people is. He's probably, he's very talented, but I honestly really like him. I like how selfless he is, how willing to sacrifice himself he is, which yes, sometimes it can go a little bit overboard. But that's just him. That's just him. And I think that speaks probably more to his self-esteem, like maybe, which it's an interesting combination. The fact that he's definitely very sure about his own abilities, but on the other hand, I feel like he's less sure about his own worth. And that's maybe growing up the way he did with, Shu Zixuan and all of that. An interesting combination. And I think that's something that we can see first in how self-assured he is in a lot of things, but also how easily he's just willing to, sacrifice himself because maybe he believes that himself is not as important as others. And also I can admire how determined he is and how he's willing to die also for something that he believes, for doing the right thing. I also feel like he's a very naive character, especially with what happened to the whole burial mounds situation. I would say that, at that point in the story, he didn't have any particular position that he had to protect. He wasn't responsible for anything, so he could afford to just fuck off and save the Wens and sacrifice everything. And that was a sacrifice that he could make because he was only responsible for himself. So I find it a little bit naive on his part that he expected Jiang Cheng to do the same, considering that Jiang Cheng is responsible for a lot more people, for his whole sect, and knowing the situation that he's in, that they are definitely not doing great in the Yang sect, and that maybe he depends on being in good terms with other sects, so he can afford to anger probably the only sect that has the most money and the most means to destroy him. So I feel like in that sense, Wei Wuxian maybe is a little bit more naive when it comes to that aspect of the politics, at least at that point. Maybe later he got a little bit wiser, but he's definitely he's just a nice guy. I like him. And obviously one of the best parts of the show, his relationship with Lan Jingyi, loved it. I loved it. It was just so sweet. I really like it. The fact that he was completely, they're just so adorable. I feel like even though we have a big part of the story after, like 16 years after, I feel like maybe they behave more like teenagers when they're 16 years after. Like they have that sort of, I don't know, sweetness about them, like first love sweetness, that I don't know. They was just lovely. I really enjoy them. And I enjoy how Wei Wuxian knew that Lan Wangji was going to give him everything he wanted. And I don't know. He's definitely one of my favorite characters in the show. I think he looked his best when he was being evil. I don't know why. I think maybe the makeup or something like that. Not that he looked bad in any other way, but I don't know. There was something about him when he started playing that flute and, we had black smoke coming. That was, I would say that was peak Wei Wuxian in terms of attractiveness. But other than that, I just find him very funny. I love the fact that he's a little shit and that I would say that his greatest weapon is not, his flute or his, demonic powers, but just the fact that he can annoy people to hell. Like, I love that about him. I also love that with with Lan Wangji, they didn't give a shit about being in front of everyone. If they wanted to have a romantic moment, by God, they were going to have a romantic moment. They are surrounded by people holding swords wanting to kill them. Fuck them. You're going to have to wait until we finish this little declaration that we have going, and then we're going to fight. What a duo. I love them. Love them. And I already seen Lan Wangji there, but I'm going to wait for the end to talk more about him. Okay, so let's go to the next one, because this video, I think, is going to be another 2 hours. What's happening with me doing videos that are extras just lasting 2 hours. It's I don't know. When I start speaking, I just can't stop. Sometimes I find it very difficult because it's still early. Though surprisingly silent. Is there classes today? Oh, there's no classes today because there is. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. There's no classes today for schools because there is like teachers are supposed to have meetings and talk about things, and I forgot about that. So I guess that's good. And I just remember what a moment. Now would be a great moment to remember the name of that guy who was Wen Chao's, I guess, minion, but that one is not coming. Okay, so the next character is Mo Xuanyu. I think there is a lot about Mo Xuanyu that I would have liked to find out. There was very little information about him. We know that he used to be a cultivator or studying to become a cultivator in the Jin clan, that he's Qin Guangshan's bastard son, or illegitimate son rather. We know that he was expelled from the Jin sect because of Jin Guangyao, because he found out too much about something, and we know that he was treated like shit from his family. And that's pretty much it. I don't think we know anything else. Well, other than the fact that he did the whole, ritual to bring Wei Wuxian back. I'm still unsure about Nie Huaisang role in that. I think it's implied that maybe he convinced him to do it, but I don't know if he can, convince or suggested him to do it, which that wouldn't be very nice. But I don't know. I wish we could see a lot more than him. Obviously, I don't have a picture of Mo Xuanyu, and for most people, it seems to be enough to see Wei Wuxian in a mask. So that's. I'm going to assume that he looks a lot like Wei Wuxian in the show, at least. I know that in the novel, it's once Wei Wuxian is resurrected, he actually looks different. But we have Wei Wuxian in a mask here, so that's where we are. That's what we are going for. I'm going to put here. I'm going to put him in just okay, because I feel I can't put them in there, I guess, because I feel like he did have a very important role in the story. It's just that he didn't actually appear that much in the story, which is, maybe in the book I'll get more information. Now, up next, this is the reason why I have 39 characters instead of 40, because originally I was going to put a different character for Lan Sizhui as a child and Lan Sizhui as, a Xuan and Lan Sizhui. I was going to make a distinction, but let's face it, they are both great. So why not put them together? I'm going to put them here in my beloved. Should I put them with the rest of the juniors? I feel like, yeah, I'm going to put him here with the rest of the juniors. So, they don't feel lonely. But I really love him. No, I'm going to leave it there. Am I going to leave it there? Yes, I'm going to leave it there. I love Lan Sizhui. I love, again, another twist in the story when we find out that Lan Sizhui was a Xuan. I fucking love that. I lost my mind when I find out. I just lost my mind. And again, it was such a perfect revelation to find out that Lan Wangji had gone back, saved him, and then raised him. It's just, my mind was blown. I loved it. And also the fact, looking at the picture, I feel like they look for a very good actor, because he definitely looks, like the actor who plays, him as a younger boy. But if you see like the rest of the Wens, I feel like he definitely looks like them. Like they look for characters that were like they have softer faces, if that makes sense. If you look at Wen Ning, you look at Wen Chao, even if you look at, Granny Wen, like I feel like all of the Wens have like more, rounded, softer features, and I feel like that was definitely a good casting, especially if you consider like the other Lans, if you consider even Lan Jingyi, which I don't know who he's related to, but if you see like Lan Xichen, Lan Wenji, Lan Xiren, they have all sharper features. So great casting there. And I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that revelation. Xuan as a boy, adorable, such a good boy. And he grew up to be such a good boy. He's just so nice. And I already said, I love how diplomatic he is, how he's always trying to, be nice. I love the fact that in the end, he remembered and he wanted to go back and maybe explore that side of himself, like explore his Wen side and to get to know more about his original family. I loved it. I love Lan Sizhui. I love Xuan. I just love all around. I love them. And his relationship with Wei Wuxian, even after all these years, these little flashes that he kept having about remembering Wei Wuxian, lovely. And also Xuan as a baby, like all of his interactions with Wei Wuxian and Lan Wenji, too cute. So nothing. I'll stop gushing about Lan Sizhui and Xuan. I think it's fairly clear that I love it. I love that aspect of the show. Definitely another great twist in the story. Okay, the next one. We have Jin Zixuan. I don't like this guy. I'm going to put him here in trash. I'm not even going to hesitate. That's where he belongs. I feel like Jin Zixuan is more, like, I know it's his nephew, but I feel like he would be more what I expected Jin Zixuan to be, being Jin Guangyang's son, than what he actually was. He really was a piece of shit. And he was really stupid because he let others manipulate him too. But he was also very mean. He think a lot of himself. He was truly, such a horrible person. I don't like him. And one of my favorite moments in the show remains, Yanli telling this guy what's what. I absolutely love that because somebody have to. And another thing that I love about this show is that Wei Wuxian kept forgetting who this guy is, and every time that he was like, who is this guy? And that was exactly my reaction. Every time that I saw him, I was like, wait, who is this? He's also not very memorable. But the only thing that I would give to this character is that from the Jins, who weren't really involved during the war with the Wens, I feel like he was actually there. Like, he was actually there during the war, so maybe he did a contribution. So maybe he wasn't a coward. That is as much as I can say about this character, because everything else, a piece of shit. Okay, so the next character is Jingling. I love Jingling. And I'm going to put him right there with the rest of the juniors, just because, let's keep them together. The group of friends. I fucking love the juniors. I feel like Jingling is a character very similar to what I felt with Jin Zixuan. At the beginning, I didn't really like him, because of the way he acted. But then he just grew on me. And considering the type, knowing that he's an orphan, the type of childhood that he had, apparently people bullied him for being an orphan, which is, what? Not good. I feel a lot of sympathy for Jingling. I really like him. I love the relationship he develops with Wei Wuxian. I think it's great. And I think this is something that comes from all of the juniors. The fact that even knowing who Wei Wuxian is, when they find out, they still like him. Like, they are not swayed by the stories that they have heard. They are not completely swayed by, what they know about, like, the Yilin patriarch. But they made their own decisions based on their own experiences with Wei Wuxian. They know that Wei Wuxian helped them. They know that Wei Wuxian, taught them things and, was good to them. And that is what matters to them. that way. And I really like that about it. And I think that can also be applied to Jingling. Even when Jingling finds out, obviously the moment he finds out about the Yilin Patriarch, who Wei Wuxian is, that moment he obviously had a reaction, very, very, let's say, helped through some of Jin Guangyao's words just after. But I feel like even after that, his relationship with Wei Wuxian is just so sweet. I love them. And that in the end, he, I wish we could have seen a lot more of them together, like uncle and nephew, because they are just so sweet. But I also like his relationship with Xingchen, the fact that he knows that Jiang Cheng, it's all bark, but he won't do anything. It's just, they're just adorable. It's just adorable. I really like him. And as I said before, I feel like Qingling occupied the position that was previously occupied by Yanli as being a sort of mediator between Wei Wuxian and Xingchen. And I think if there is any possible, obviously not in the show, maybe the show ended, there is nothing else. And I don't think in the novel happens either. But if we can think of a reconciliation between Wei Wuxian and Xingchen, I think probably Jingling is going to be the one responsible for that. He's going to be the one mediating between his uncles, just the same way his mother did. And we could see that at the end of the show when he wanted to go after Wei Wuxian, and he complained to his other uncle that, to Jiang Cheng, that, he left because of the way Jiang Cheng was, which is, valid. I don't know. I also feel very sorry for him because he had to hear all of those revelations from Jin Guangyao. Like, this poor kid, like in 1 day or 2 days, he had to hear so much things that he shouldn't have been hearing. He was taken hostage. Like, my God, give this guy a break. He didn't deserve that. Somebody please give this guy a hug. But I came to enjoy Jingling a lot. He was really sweet. I like him. Okay, so the next character, Wen Ruhan. And do you know how hard it was to find a photo of Wen Ruhan when he was smiling? I don't know why I felt the need to find that, but I did. And that's the photo that I'm using. This is obviously from, it's not from the actual show. Let's just put it like that. So Wen Ruhan, I feel like I don't hate Wen Ruhan. He was a piece of shit. But again, like with Wen Chao, I feel like he really broadcast the way that he was a piece of shit. Like, to me, there was literally no doubt. I mean, let's face it. Already the colors, the fact that he was in that big room surrounded by monsters, I guess. Everything in his behavior was telling me that he was a villain. Like, he wasn't shy about him. He wasn't shy about just killing people, sending other people to kill other people. He was very honest about his villainy, and I can appreciate that after everything. Like, after finishing the show, it's like, you know what? I can appreciate somebody who wants to kill me, tells me he wants to kill me. Like, yes, that is, I feel like I like that. But at the end of the day, I feel like he was such a cartoonish villain that I don't think I could ever take him seriously. Like, he wasn't a threat. Obviously, I feel like Wen Chao was maybe a little bit more of a threat than he was, especially because he was never, like, I think in the whole show he left that room once, and at some point he wasn't even, like, allowing people in. I remember that conversation that he had with Wen Chao and Shu Shang, and they were outside the door, and the door was closed, and he was talking to them, like, from inside. Like, what was that? What was happening? Obviously, he did a lot of things. Like, the only thing that I truly find, like, maybe the worst of him is what he did to Wen Qing and Wen Ning. But other than that, I feel like he was just there giving orders to some people and just being a very cartoonish villain. So I'm going to put him in they were there, I guess. I have no strong feelings toward them. And I don't know, the actor seems very, he seems fine. He seems very fun. So I don't know. Great hair though. He has great hair. Obviously that's a wig. That is a wig, right? Yes, that's a wig. For a moment, it's like, imagine if it wasn't. That is a wig. But again, it's just, I didn't feel the threat. I feel like, he was too exaggerated. Nothing. I'll put him there. No strong feelings with him. Next character, Lan Xichen. And you know where I'm going to put him. I don't remember when I put him the first time, but you know where I'm going to put him. He's going straight to the top. I love Lan Xichen, and that's why I chose that picture. My favorite hobby these past weeks had been to find photos of Lan Xichen, like the actor still dresses Lan Xichen, but doing very Lan Xichen things. That had been like my favorite hobby. That photo of him is one of my favorite. I like to believe that is Lan Xichen after he retired. Like, because he's a teacher, I can guarantee you that at some point he's going to say fuck off and he's going to retire and he's going to put a shirt that says pervert. He's going to fuck off somewhere else and he deserves it. I obviously I don't approve with all of the things that Lan Xichen has done in the show, but I feel that everything he did was because he loved his he loved his nephews and he didn't want to see his nephews repeating the same mistakes as his father had done. And he was, if you think about it, if you think like Lan Xichen's age and all of that, his brother essentially just, gave him his sons and then fuck off into seclusion. And then Lan Xichen, who I'm guessing should have been pretty young back then, had to deal with raising two boys. And I don't know. I feel like he did the best he could with the situations, considering his own personality too. And I don't know. I can appreciate that always, even when he was mistaken, he always tried to do what's best for his sons. And I think a lot of people don't like Lan Xichen, and I can understand that. A lot of people say probably like the biggest issue that they have with Lan Xichen is the fact that how Lan Wangji was punished after what he did for Wei Wuxian, and I think that's fair enough. I would say that it wasn't a great moment, and I think that was probably partly desperation. But on the other hand, maybe I understood this incorrectly, but I also think that Lan Wangji asked to be punished, so I think that up to a point maybe he thought he deserved it. I don't know. Definitely not his best moment, but again, I still feel that he always did what he thought best for his nephews. And I like to think that in the end, he managed to accept whatever happened and maybe even accept Wei Wuxian, a little bit at least. But I love Lan Xichen, and I also like the fact that he's a petty bitch. Like, he seems to be like the more, not the nicest, but like diplomatic, and he wouldn't say anything, but deep down, I love the fact that when they were in burial mounds, he just let Lan Jingyi talk about things. He didn't stop. Like, he could have told him, like, shut up, don't say this, but he let him. So I think in many ways he was expressing something that he believed. That's why I think that maybe Lan Jingyi was playing interpreter at that moment a little bit too. I don't know. I like Lan Xichen. I think the actor is handsome too, but that is something for, I'm not going to expose you to my feelings of Lan Xichen in that sense. I like him. I think he will look really a lot younger with the beard, and I'm wondering if they put the beard just to make it more believable. Because if you compare him to other people of what I assume is his generation, I think it's probably the best looking one, and the one who well, maybe because he doesn't have children. People who don't have children usually look a lot younger than they are. Well, I guess he had children. I don't know. I just like Lan Xichen, and I enjoyed it, and I'm unapologetic about it. And if everybody disagrees, then I don't mind. I'm going to keep loving him. Speaking of loving him, and I feel like what we have left is going to be mostly positive, so that's good. And also, I've already gone over the 2 hours. Great. So we have Nie Minjue, and you know where he's going. Look at that smile. Again, very hard to find a photo of Nie Minjue where he was smiling. Very difficult. He obviously doesn't smile a lot in the show, and I kind of get it, because if I had seen him smile in the show, I wouldn't have cared for anything else. Look at those dimples. He's so good looking. I love him. And I love him also for other reasons. It's not just because he's nice looking. I feel like, I don't know, he's definitely a character. I love his relationship with Nie Huaisang. First, I feel like it seems strict. Like, he seems like he's very strict with Nie Huaisang, but then you look at Nie Huaisang and he does pretty much what he wants. I feel like he's actually quite spoiled. Like, he just, I have older brothers, so I can understand. I have younger brothers, rather. I'm the older sister. And I can understand that, like, he would say something like, do this, and they don't do it. And it's like, oh, well, I tried. I feel that's what happened, because let's face it, Nie Huaisang behaves like a spoiled child. And who else could he have been spoiled by his brother? I feel that maybe the relationship got a lot worse as his problem with the chi deviations became worse. But as a whole, I think he was a pretty good brother. And the fact that, he had to take that role also as a brother, but also maybe a little bit, taking care of his brother, nothing. I can't wait to see Fatal Journey. I want to see more of the Nie brothers because I love them. I think he deserved better. But one of the things that I like the most about Nie Minjue is that he fits a certain type of character that I love, which is the, good intentioned himbo. That is just the thing that I love. To me, that is just my type. That's my type of character. I love him. I love the fact that he cried during this show. Like, he just, he was very emotional. He had a lot of emotions, and he said that moment when he was saying, telling Jing and at the time Miao that he had to leave, and he was crying. I was like, oh, no, my heart. I just loved it. And I don't know, I love the fact that when Wei Wuxian did the thing with the arrows, like throwing the arrows, that the way he clapped, I have never seen anybody clap like that in my life, and he was just so excited to see that. I love him. I think maybe he had very narrow views, that's true. I'm not going to say that he was a perfect character, but it's in the way that Lan Xichen. The heart wants what the heart wants, and I love Nie Minjue. I think he was a very interesting character. I would have, I like his interactions also with Lan Xichen. I love how, I just love him. I don't think I can explain with words my feelings for him. It's just feelings. It's just, and again, I don't think a lot of people agree with that, but I do like him. And I would say that a lot of people don't seem to like him with a mustache. I'm fine with that. I actually like him with a mustache. I haven't seen the actor without it. I think he probably needs it. I think it really suits him. I like Nie Mingjue with a mustache. Although I've seen other pictures with him with a goatee. That one, I'm not so sure. But with a mustache, I'm fine. I'm weak for facial hair. But not you, Jin Guangyao. Your facial hair looks like the devil. Okay, so the next character that we have is Lan Xichen. Lan Xichen, I love him. Am I going to put... I think all of the characters that I have left are going to be put there. I really like Lan Xichen. And again, I don't think by any means he's a perfect character. I think he has his faults. I think he's definitely a lot more passive than other characters. And in the sense, by that I mean that there were times that maybe he could have taken action or react in some way to certain things that he didn't. And he had his reasons. I think he's obviously just a very kind and somebody who doesn't like to think the worst of others. And I think that is something that maybe affected his character. I don't know, but I truly enjoy him other than that. Something I didn't mention that maybe I should have said when I talk about Nie Huaisang is that I don't know, a lot of people find a lot more issue in Nie Huaisang using Lan Xichen to kill Jin Guangyao. And while I agree that it was definitely a dick move, especially knowing how Lan Xichen felt about Jin Guangyao, I would say that I can understand why Nie Huaisang did it. Like, I feel like it's not something that he planned. I don't think he planned it that way. But I could understand why he would think, you know, knowing that Nie Mingjue was also Lan Xichen's sworn brother, I think maybe Nie Huaisang, although this is not what I think he was thinking. I think at that moment, all he was thinking was, Jin Guangyao has to die and I have to find a way to kill him. And I think in that sense, he saw that possibility with Lan Xichen. Because Lan Xichen was not going to kill him. I think it was clear that Lan Xichen was going to let him live. And for Nie Huaisang, I think that was unacceptable. I think he wanted him dead. And he just took the chance. At the moment, he was looking for a way to do it. He saw that opportunity and he took it. But in a way, I feel that Nie Huaisang probably feels that it's fair that to have Lan Xichen kill him as a way to avenge Nie Mingjue, thinking that after all, Lan Xichen and Nie Mingjue were sworn brothers, and that maybe it's what I think Nie Huaisang maybe felt that it's what he should do. No, and that is not that by saying that. I'm just saying that I think that's probably the motivation. Not that I approve of it, because I don't think, it was great for Lan Xichen to do it. I think he suffered a lot. Already knowing that Jin Guangyao, in a way, used him to kill Nie Mingjue, that is already enough for him. I would say that is a huge punishment, and that is something horrifying for him to find out. But I think that's probably the reason. That's why maybe I don't like the fact that he did it. I'm not so mad about it. But definitely not great for Lan Xichen. But I do like Lan Xichen in the fact that I just kind of appreciate a character that, just spills every detail about his brother to the man he knows his brother is in love with, and then just plays a flute solo. That's just... I have no words. There were these little details about Lan Xichen that always showed how extra he actually was. Like, he was trying to conform to normality, but there were these little details. Like that moment where it's Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian. It's after Wei Wuxian was stabbed by Jingling, and they are in this place, and they are talking, and suddenly, like 5 minutes after, Wei Wuxian realizes that he's in cloud recesses, and he tells like Lan Wangji, "Oh, what is your brother going to do?" And suddenly it turns out like, "Oh, I'm like, what if your brother finds out?" And Lan Xichen is, "I already know," and he appears like, how long were you standing outside just waiting for your chance to enter? Like, I imagine it was like at least 2 or 3 hours of him just listening in, waiting to make an entrance. And that, I know that is not canon, but that is the canon that I'm going to, because I feel like there was a lot of pizzazz in Lan Xichen, and that he just needed to express it. I also appreciate the fact that he's fairly, I don't know if pacifist is the right word, but I think we see him use a sword very little. Like at the end, they are obviously in the temple and during the war, but other than that, his position was always obviously very passive. But whenever he had to take action, I think his first instinct was to just take his flute and either diffuse the situation or deal with it in that way. So on one hand, that is a great virtue, because it means that he is very diplomatic. That is very unlikely that he's going to just resort to violence. But on the other hand, it also makes it that maybe other people can use that against him. Let's just put it like that. As far as his relationship with Jin Guangyao, I feel like there was a lot of love there. I feel like he loved Jin Guangyao. I feel like Jin Guangyao loved him in a way. I feel it's ironic that Jin Guangyao said that he wouldn't hurt him, considering obviously I don't think he wouldn't kill him, but yeah, sweetie, you already hurt him. You already hurt him enough. But I seen a lot of them like shipping them together, and I think that's fine. I think under different circumstances, it was something that I'll probably enjoy myself. Personally, I don't think I can read anything there, or I can ship Jin Guangyao with anything, because that is how much like rejection I have against the character. Like, I just know. So that is something that not my thing. But I would admit that there definitely was a lot love there, and maybe under different circumstances, maybe if Jin Guangyao was a lot less of a social climber and he would have settled with something else, maybe he could have been in cloud recesses, just married to Lan Xichen instead of killing half of the cultivation world and more. So, or no, not killing them, but definitely being responsible for. So that's my take on that, because that's the thing about Jin Guangyao, and it's not like I want to go back to it, but I still have people. If you have seen my reactions, you know that I have a lot of things to say about Jin Guangyao, and I'm so sorry. But I feel that he definitely had a lot of opportunities of not doing what he did. Like, he didn't have to, just go for obviously he had a lot of issues with his father. So there's also that he feel like he needed to be recognized by his father. So that's fair enough. But I feel that took him to the extreme at some point, because he honestly, once he left the Ni's, or once he left Nimindre, he could have gone anywhere. Like, at that point, well, I guess he was already working with Xueshang, so that wasn't great, but he could have gone anywhere. He could have been anywhere. He's really smart. He's really capable. But he made a decision to go where he went, and I don't know. I feel he could have been happier if he could have gone just to cloud recesses and stay there That would have been a very different story, I feel. Okay, so the last character that we have, Lan Wangji, and you know where he's going. Right there. Now let's put in next to Wei Wuxian. There we go. Perfect. Between Wei Wuxian and Lan Xichen, as it should be. What can I say about Lan Wangji? I feel one of the things that I like the most about Lan Wangji is the fact that at the beginning, like the first episodes that you see him, is literally nothing. Like, it's literally no expression. There's no expression there. There's nothing. And obviously it's a little bit funny, but it's interesting how as the story progresses, you start, either because the actors start doing it more or because maybe you get better at it, you start to sort of read his micro expressions, you start to understand what he feels. So even if he's not saying anything, you can tell at any time how Lan Wangji is feeling about a situation. And I love that. I also love the fact that after Wei Wuxian come back, he's a lot more open with that. He's a lot more open with his emotions and expressing himself. I love it. I love the fact that I'm pretty sure there were some episodes that Lan Wangji was there and didn't say a single thing. I have to rewatch the show to confirm this, but I'm pretty sure this is the case. There is at least one episode that Lan Wangji is just there hanging in the background saying nothing. And the whole episode is like that. And you know what? Good on him. Good on the actor that he didn't have to memorize that many lines. The actor is also very good. As I said, I think Wang Yibo looks a lot younger than Lan Wangji looks. Especially, I think, again, very good job, the makeup department, I think, like, maybe also the clothes and all of that, into making Lan Wangji look older in, after the 16 years that he looks, at the beginning. I don't know what it is. Like, at the beginning, he looks like softer, like his face look more rounded and softer, and when he's older he looks sharper, and I love that. I love that change. I love those smiles. Like, we didn't get a lot of smiles for Lan Wangji, but when we got them, it was bliss. It was perfect. I love seeing him smile, and even seeing his smile is just like this, the smaller turn upward from his lips. That's it. It's not like he was fully smiling. And as a character, I really like him. I love the fact that he's in this position between, you know, just following the rules of his sect and understanding the world through those rules, and obviously the chaos that is Wei Wuxian, and him being able to be right there in the middle. Because I like the fact that, you know, even though he understood a lot of things differently by his association with Wei Wuxian, and obviously there were things that he was more open about, and there were things that, you know, he understood that maybe, you know, rules are not absolutely everything, that sometimes, you know, there are exceptions, and sometimes there are other things that you have to consider, and that situations are different. And even though he started to have this understanding and all of that, it's not like he completely abandoned the teachings of his sect. And that is something that I love, because that happens a lot, that when a character rebels, they go completely off the rails and, you know, abandon everything and went to, you know, in this context, maybe go to Wei Wuxian and abandon everything. And that is not what happened to him. What happened to him is that he became a lot more critical of the rules and of his sect and the teachings of his sect, but at the same time he's still there. Like, he still respected, he respect Lan Xichen, he respect the rules, and you know, I like that about him. Like, he could be both at the same time. And obviously he's always going to make exceptions for Wei Wuxian, let's face it. But I really enjoy that his character, you know, remain, let's say, faithful to his teachings, but more critical of them and more open to different things. So good on him. I enjoy that. what else? I enjoyed, obviously, his racing, a Xuan, absolutely lovely. My only complaint for the show is the fact that we never got to see that. We never got to see Lan Wangji taking care of little Ashuan. And for that, I am sorry. But I love the idea that he did that, especially considering how young he was. I absolutely loved it. I loved it, and he taught him how to play the guqin. And obviously, and Ashuan said it, or Lan Sizhui said it, that for him, Lan Wangji was sort of like a brother and a father, and that is just so sweet. I love him. I love the fact that the moment Wei Wuxian comes back, that's it for him. That, he's not going to let. That's why, to me, the ending seemed a little bit strange. I know what happened. I know censorship and all of that. But why I find so strange that he would just let Wei Wuxian go, especially considering that after 16 years and for all of the episodes after the flashback, he couldn't stand Wei Wuxian leaving his side. He has to be there all of the time. So I love that about him. That's why I find what happened at the end of the show strange, but I can understand it. It's fine. I understand like the censorship and all of that. Something that I wasn't too convinced about the show was the fact that he was, named chief cultivator. That that is a role that obviously there are no better options, I'll say, probably. He's definitely someone who has a very good reputation, and I assume that after having Jin Guangyao in that position, they wanted somebody who, didn't have, like, somebody who had, like, an unquestionable reputation, somebody that they know was good and there wasn't going to give any surprises. Ironic considering who he's interacting and who he's, in a relationship with, technically. But I guess at this point, Wei Wuxian is, more accepted, I suppose. But I don't see Lan Wangji being that diplomatic. I think the chief cultivator's job seems to be more like a political one, something that needs more like diplomacy, and it needs someone more adept at doing that sort of thing. And I don't see Lan Wangji being very good at that. I could see Lan Xichen doing that, but obviously Lan Xichen is out of commission because what happened. He's obviously traumatized, so he needs to take a while. And I understand why there wasn't any possibility. I think, in that sense, maybe Nie Huaisang would have been a better job knowing who he, knowing what he was capable of, especially now that he's not playing the fool. But I guess in the show, he doesn't want to get involved with that. And that's fine. But honestly, even Lan Xichen would probably be better. I think Lan Wangji would have zero patience for everyone. Like, the moment you're annoying him, he will just shut you up with the silencing spell and just leave and ignore you. Because honestly, Lan Wangji, I think I mentioned all of this, the one that I wanted. Lan Wangji is a character that seemed very proper and very polite and all of that. But he had zero tolerance for everyone. Like, when he didn't stand somebody, he just shut them up. Like, he was never, like, very diplomatic to begin with, I felt. And I like that about her. I think that actually makes him a lot more compatible with Wei Wuxian, that you would assume at first glance. But my God, that is something that I wasn't too convinced with the ending. And another thing that I love about Lan Wangji, when he gets drunk, his moment getting drunk, absolutely perfect. I loved it. I think he was so vulnerable and so open, and I don't know. It was just sweet. I love it. And I think that's it. I think I have spoken for 2.5 hours, and I think it's enough. You can feel that my throat is absolutely killing me, but it's done. It's done. And let's see if we can I leave this? Oh, no.
here. Let's see if we can compare to what my ranking was. Did I actually play this? Yeah, apparently I played it. Okay, it's just that I just silenced it and I didn't realize. And obviously silence, because already the fact that I have to listen to my voice when I edit this, that is enough. I don't need to. What did I put? Oh no! I'm reacting to that for a moment. It's like I thought it was like an ad. I didn't realize it was this episode, because obviously I'm getting recommended all of these things, and I'm reacting to the founder of Diabolism. I guess that's the name of the Dongwa. So obviously I'm not seeing any of that. So let's go to the end when things are already on the way. I'm guessing. Look how few characters I had here. So let's see what's changed from this. I feel like the first tier is pretty much the same. What did I added Wen Ning and Nie Huaisang, I feel, to this tier. But other than that, I feel like all of the rest of the characters are there. Well, what did I put Lan Xichen? Oh, I didn't put Lan Xichen in. I disappointed myself. I also put Lan Yi and Mo Xuan Yu in that tier, and here they were there. Well, I guess they appear at the beginning, so with time, I guess I just stopped liking them. Well, not stop liking them, but things happen in the middle, apparently. Xiao, Xingchen, and so, well, I guess that by this time, when I did this list, by episode 25, we haven't seen the Yi City arc, so we didn't know them that much, so that's understandable. But I like the fact that I put Cheng and the same. Oh no, the other one I put in, they were there, I guess. Okay, so there were some differences. I guess my opinion of Jiang Fengmian changed with time, which is fine. Let's see. These ones I feel. Oh, Jingling was in Thin Ice. No, not in Thin Ice. They were there, I guess. Yeah, I can see that. Again, if you basing my opinions only in the first episodes, definitely Jingling's behavior wasn't the best. And then Sushe there. That is surprising. But I guess he wasn't a dick back then. He wasn't as much of a dick, and he was later. So, yeah, I understand that. There were definitely a lot more characters that I was indifferent for this one. Over there, I put Wen Ruhan in trash. Yeah, okay. I don't agree anymore with that, but I feel like in comparison, if you look at who turns out to be the villains of the story, at the end, in comparison to what Wen Ruhan, I don't feel like he was that much of a threat. I don't feel like he was that important. Okay, I put Sec Leader Zhao in Thin Ice, and I can see why, but I still find him funny. I guess I wasn't counting funny as one of the things that I used to judge this. What else is very different? I guess also Shui Yang, and that time also he hadn't done what he did at the end, so understandable. A lot more characters, Wen Chao and Wen Chao. Again, I feel like, in comparison with some other characters, I feel these two, yes, they were terrible. They were absolutely horrible people, but you know what? I don't know. It's just, again, I forgot to put pause. There. I'll post it. There we go. I don't know. In comparison with other characters, I feel like if you compare them to, Jin Guangyao, yes, they were horrible, but I feel like Jin Guangyao was in a given level. If Jin Guangyao wasn't there and none of these three, yeah, well, obviously. And I think that's it. Some changes. Definitely I changed some of my opinions, but I think at the core, my opinions became, remained the same with, at least the characters that I love and the characters that I hate. I feel like there were some changes in the middle. But other than that, I think it was pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to stop here because this is getting almost ridiculous in terms of how long it is. So again, I really enjoy this. Be on the lookout for some more videos of the Untamed. I have some more videos planned for the Untamed. I'm going to do the reaction to rewatching the first episodes. I'm going to be watching Fatal Journey. Maybe I'm going to be watching also Lan Sizhui's and Wen Ning's movie. We'll see. Fatal Journey for sure. The other one, I'll see when I can fit it. And there is also a few more videos. Also, I'm going to be reacting to the manga. To the animated series. And that's starting next Friday. With the first 2 episodes, and also I'm going to be doing videos about me reading the novel that they're going to come out at some point. I haven't started the novel yet because I wanted to do this one first, just in case. I wanted to keep my opinions completely free of what I may read in the novel. Just I want to base only on the Untamed. But now that I did this, I'm going to start reading the novel. I'm probably at some point I'm going to to do the videos. The videos are going to be divided by each of the arcs. And I think I'm probably going to, announce them somewhere that I'm going to do it, just in case, so people know from which character to which chapter I'm going to be reading. And that's pretty much it. I really enjoy this. This was great. My throat doesn't seem to think so, and I think maybe you can listen to how it's, expressing his disapproval of me speaking for 2 hours and 40 minutes, but it is what it is. So thank you for watching, for those who stay unto this point. I hope I haven't forget any characters, but please let me know if I did, and let me know what you think. What are your thoughts? Where would you put these characters? Which ones do you think? I feel like I had maybe some controversial opinions, but on the whole, I think this was pretty expected, I feel. So, nothing. Oh, the other thing, this was something that I wanted to say when I was speaking with, about, Jiang Cheng. I just find out that the actor who played Jiang Cheng has the same, not the actor who plays Jiang Cheng, the person who does the voiceover for Jiang Cheng is the same as the person who did Wen Qing, and my mind is blown. I have to re-listen to everything they said so I could notice, because I had no idea. That's it. I don't know. I find that very interesting. Okay, so now, yes, I'm going to stop. Thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed, and I guess I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.